I love to talk about spirituality, and today I want to tap into Easter vibes and Jesus' resurrection. I want to talk about a little bit, like most people don't know it, but because of Easter, we're celebrating Easter because of the resurrection of Jesus. But in so many religions, in ancient religions, resurrection is a natural thing. So I don't know about all you religious people and spiritual people out there, but the resurrection of anything is just a mirror of us. Anything that Jesus resurrected, and other religion like Dionysus, I can't pronounce it, the Greek ancient mystery history of dying and resurrection. This goes through so many religions way before Christianity. Even in Egyptians, there was Egyptian, can't remember the name, but also he was a god. He dies and he resurrects, and it's something to do with the underworld or whatever. Like resurrection is part of us. It's part of who we are, and it's part of life in itself. You can see around me here, things are slowly resurrecting after a long winter. We go through the death, which is the death of nature, and the resurrection of animals coming out again from sleeping, what do you call it, hibernation, and in general just trees blossoming, leaves growing back on trees. So a natural death and a natural resurrection. This is a great example. This is the time for everything starts to grow again. So we have to understand that every religion that has ever existed talking about resurrection actually talks about the whole natural part of being human and being alive on this earth. Everything that dies will resurrect in some way or another. Even a lot of religion talks about, which is also part of my belief, that we resurrect, like we have, what do you call it, multiple lives. We come back in a new life. Sorry, my English today is horrible because I've been speaking Danish ever since I woke up. And even the research I did before this video, just to make sure that I understood some of it, was actually in Danish. So yeah, definitely a lot of Danish on my mind today. But resurrecting is something that we do today. It's something that we do together. It's something that everything during the winter dies. The trees, there's no more blossoming of flowers. Even grass become dull and a little bit. The winter has just been here, and it's been long. And Bentley, he's in the water. That's not great. Come. Yep, one of my sister's dogs. Anyway, so I just wanted to mirror back to you guys that we resurrect in ourselves. We resurrect as we walk in nature, and things are growing back. And I just wanted to connect to that. Oh my God, my English is so horrible today. Bear with me. But I just wanted to say that it's a lot of the time that we are kind of not understanding that all these religions around us are stories mirroring our nature, our natural habitat of us being humans and being alive. Everything that dies will resurrect. Everything will come back at some point or another. And I think it's important to recognize that all these religions comes from something. And today, or right now, Easter has started. And part of that is actually resurrection, a death and a rise. And this also happens within us, I believe. Walking up a hill here. Apparently my shape, I'm not in great shape anymore. I should do more of this. Actually, I've been doing this pretty much every day. Hang on. I'll put you here. And I'll tie my lace. So, I believe when we notice what happens within us, these days, also winter, summer, all these things, what happens within us, how we evolve, how nature blossoms again. I know the Egyptian, some of the Egyptian old ancient religions show that the Nile actually defined when things were resurrecting, because can you talk about Kundalini? I can. Well, actually Kundalini to me is super relevant, actually. Again, resurrecting the Kundalini energy, the snake within that goes through your spine like that. For me, Kundalini is an energy of creation. It's an energy of connection. But I find the Kundalini, and I'm gonna stop. I'll sit down for a second or two so I can talk to you guys. The Kundalini energy to me is something very sacred, something I wouldn't play around with. I just been to Bali. A lot of people there are activating their Kundalini energy, but they have no clue on what they're doing. They have no respect. It's like kids giving kids drugs, and they'll just go crazy in it. And I find Kundalini energy to be super sacred, something that's definitely worth connecting to, understanding. But Kundalini energy is I would say also dangerous to play around with. It can really fuck you up, to be honest. I have an ex-girlfriend that has an uncle, he's still alive. And he at some point did the Kundalini awakening, and he would awaken the Kundalini energy. And for you guys that don't know what Kundalini energy is, you can look it up. It's what we have. It's all our chakras aligned, and it's there's different practices of breathing and such to activate this Kundalini energy. And a lot of, especially women, I find, almost get like an orgasmic energy from the Kundalini awakening, which means they'll get like sexual, energized. They'll get horny, pretty much. And I find this energy to play around with it, like with anything that is sacral, from your root chakra to your, crown chakra. When you play around with these energies, you can skew how you perceive reality, and you can even, if you have small imbalances, you can make them worse. I'm not trying to create fear here. I want to create respect around it, because I find it so important to understand that playing around with these energies, all it does is it can make you can activate this just by breathing and being present with yourself. It's hard. It takes a long time. And yes, you can go to a Kundalini session with someone, and if they don't know what they're doing, and you don't know what you're doing, because they can't control you, they can only guide you, and you'll risk becoming out of balance. And people abuse it. Yes, thank you for saying that. That's unlimited E to D 11. Thank you for asking. Yes, they use it for pleasure. They use it as escapism. They use it like drugs. They abuse it. They don't have respect for Kundalini energy. And I find that to be very unhealthy. And to share the story, what happened with my ex-girlfriend's uncle, he got mentally ill from doing Kundalini. That sounds kind of like just a story someone says to scare people. But actually, that's what happened. He was so amused or amazed by the energy of Kundalini that it put him out of a balance with himself, and even skewed his sexuality in some sense or another. I'm not sure. I mean, the guy didn't have a great life anyways. He did, but I mean, they grew up with sexual abuse and drinking and drugs. His parents apparently mistreated him and abused him and stuff like that. So when you're in an imbalance already emotionally, and you play around with Kundalini energy, then I don't think that's very healthy. Unlimited has another good question here. Would you say for a man it is important to do retention for awakening? Yes, I would say it's a very good practice, but there's a big but in that sentence. For people who don't know what retention is, it's meaning that you don't jerk off, you don't have sex, you don't do all these things that has anything to do with sex, but maybe you connect with it, maybe you have thoughts about it, but you practice retention. And it's very beneficial because you build up the fluid of the energy. I've done it many times before. I would say it can be super beneficial for concentration, for production, to be productive, and not to be led by watching porn or chasing women or all these things. So retention is like keeping your power. But the but in this, people say just keep doing it. I've been doing it for 6 months at some point. I got nothing out of it, nothing. And that's just my experience. And you can read so much about it, but from what I studied and the stuff that I read about it, that resonated with me and my intuition, was that yes, you can do it for maybe 3 weeks, a couple of months maybe, but everything after that, it doesn't seem to become better or more divine or anything like that. But practicing retention really can help you focus. And I would, Unlimited says he needs that focus bad. Yeah, I understand that. But I would say other things that could really give you that the same amount of like retention. What it gave me is, yes, there is. It's kind of nice stepping so much out of focus on just not watching porn or not watching hot women all the time and try to go on dates and have sex with your girlfriend all the time. But I would say if you're in a relationship, that could be very damaging. He's impatient. It could be very damaging to your relationship, you practicing retention. So I would still say you could practice retention by doing tantra sex with your girlfriend or wife, meaning that you would still pleasure her, you would still give her massages, but you don't come yourself. That can be very beneficial, but I still think that can give you some purpose, and it can practice you being super focused and very aligned. I'm glad you agree, Unlimited. But I still think there's so many other things that you can do other than retention. I do think every man should practice retention. If you are a person like a guy that jerks off, let's say every day, I would invite you to wait 5 days, 3 to 5 days. Practice that for a while. Because of the energy that's saved up, you go through the frustration of not jerking off or not having sex with someone, but it will change your energy level. It changes your focus. You want to be more productive. In the beginning, you lose concentration. You get frustrated. In America, he says they say edging. Yeah, I think that I remember that word as well. I do think it's good for you to practice in like 3-5 days at least and see like what the energy is. If you're still in a frustrating energy, I would avoid jerking off still. You have to go on the other side of, being frustrated and thinking, oh, I can't think before I've jerked off or something like that, or edging. No, I've used that word wrong, I think. But if you keep going through life and you get frustrated without doing, I think it's so good for men not jerking off for a while and not watching porn, not getting excited, not getting endorphins or stimuli in any sense, and then focus it either inward by practicing meditation, breath work. What I would say, that is a tool I think is probably one of the strongest and most beneficial tools I've gotten into. I have a lot of breathwork sessions that I practice, and I'm going to share some of them at some point on my Instagram. But yeah, I think there's so many benefits to it. So yes, retention is really healthy, but I would not do it longer than, if I want an experiment, I'll do it maybe 1 month or 1.5, maybe 2 months, depending on who you are and what your intention is. And of course, always set an intention. Why do you want to get into it? Like, it shouldn't be an experiment just to experiment. It should be like, I want to be more in control. I want to be of myself and my body and how I feel and how I react. And it should be also something like, when you set that intention, it will help your work focus. And we know this from athletes. When they go and have to do a big race or a big competition or something like that, tournament, they practice retention. So this goes for all men as well. We actually know the benefits. You have much more power, much more focus, and much more drive. And your testosterone can even raise the level of testosterone in your body, as far as the research that I've read. So yeah, and I would say use retention before you go to the gym. Like, if you are into building your body and muscle and brain, lifting weights is so beneficial, and practicing retention at the same time. Yes, and Unlimited says it purifies the mind. I agree. It can be super frustrating for a while, but eventually, when you get on the other side of that, you kind of understand the tool of like the power of it. But then it kind of wears off in my practices. So after a while, for me, it's typically around 2 or 3 weeks. It wears off. There's no more novelty in it, and I don't feel any different. I won't. Nothing in it will excel me any further. So I don't feel it's that beneficial anymore. So Unlimited says, I think overall it makes us stronger spiritually. And I agree, because if we're always, it's like having your phone, right? If it's just in front of you, you're going to use it. And funny enough, we have our penis right between our legs. We use it every day, as well as women. You know, they might also use our penis every day. But what I meant to say is that we are driven creatures, and it's our natural way of being, and yes, just being present with other people we're attracted to, and so I would say it, even for women, can be good to practice retention, especially if you masturbate a lot, or pleasure yourself, or however you want to call it. I think it's very beneficial to dig deeper into what you are and what you feel like, and then use that energy to produce something, because again, it's the same energy we do creation from. So it's like spiritually, one of the most divine energies is recreation, like having sex, making babies. So when you start using that for something else, I really find that very powerful. So again, comfort and instant pleasure. Yes, the problem with instant pleasure is that it creates a hormone release in our brain and makes us feel more happy and more driven, but I don't think it's beneficial in long term. I think practicing that you limit yourself and are not addicted to anything. Anyways, I have to go celebrate Easter with my family. I wanted to talk about Easter today, and I love that Unlimited gave me some good questions we can talk about. And I also wanted to say, remind you that everything, either is retention or not, like we evolve, but we don't evolve, we will keep doing. We're not human doings, we're human beings. So being human and listening to emotions, listening to what happens in your consciousness, becoming conscious and taking conscious choices in your life really is what we can become even better people and even more divinely connected people. Because I think that's what we forgot. I think that's why I'm here, is to remind everyone that you're seen, you're loved, you're perfect the way you are. Yes, you make mistakes, but we're here to forgive each other, and we're here to excel even higher, on a higher vibration, healing each other, if it even means your body, your mind, your soul. Thanks again, Unlimited, also for participating. It says many blessings and happy Easter also to you guys. Remember, Easter isn't something that's in religious books. It just means we're celebrating resurrection. That's all. We're celebrating that the flower is blooming again, the grass, the trees, everything is growing out. The days are longer, new beginnings. Thank you so much, Unlimited. We should do just next time just a video together, because I think we can talk about these things a lot. Anyways, guys, love you, and love that you're following and that you are participating in these things. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, I'm just here to remind you that that we're all resurrecting right now, and we're all connected. And that's why you see my face on your phone right now, and that's why I see your little faces on your icons Thank you, Maria's storytelling. Have a wonderful day too. And thank you to Unlimited. I'll see you another time. Take care.